When it comes to the Graham Platner situation, I was just going to mind my black business because at the end of the day, if white people don't care about Nazi tattoos, then hey, who am I to say anything? Because I don't live in Maine. However, what Tim Miller said really rubbed me the wrong way. And this is the problem that I'm seeing in the Democratic Party, even though he counts himself as an independent. I'm seeing these white moderates or these white leftists be able just to excuse racism, basically being like, who cares? You know, as long as we can win, that's all we care about. This is a huge problem in the Democratic Party, and we're going to talk about it right now. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start out, and Tim Miller just kind of gets right into it. I'll go ahead and share the link for the full video, but I'm going to show you the part that got me pissed off. Here we go.
I want to start by saying this. I think that if I was in Maine personally under my own and had my own vote, and I was just speaking for myself, and I was an analyst, I think I'd vote for Janet Mills. I'd probably do it holding my nose. And if it was the governor's race or a mayor's race, where it's just one person, it's an executive, they're running for mayor of my town, I would want the 79-year-old lady that has demonstrated herself to be a career public servant to like make sure the trash pickup is on time. That's not what this is, though. It's a national election for the U.S. Senate. And it is absolutely critical that the Democrats figure out how in the fuck to win working class white people if they ever want to have any power or control again. It's critical they figure it out. Is Graham Platner the magic potion to that? We don't know, but it's worth a try. We know that Janet Mills is not. And I wish this was happening. I've said this a million times in Florida or Nebraska. I wish we were trying this out in a race that wasn't as important as the Maine race. But, we can't get our wishes in this world. Obviously, we all know that. And so we're in Maine. And my view on this, just one more thing, and I'll hear your rebuttal, is that, yeah, the tattoo seemed really dumb. Okay. Also, some of his Reddit posts are pretty mean, but I think if you went through my whole social media archive, you'd see some shit that I had some pretty bad takes when I was 23. I have some bad takes now from time to time. The latest one, he went on a podcast with somebody that advanced a Charlie Kirk conspiracy. I'm kind of like, wait a minute. I thought we wanted the candidates to go on podcasts like this now. We're going to be mad about him going on this podcast because the guy had a crazy theory. It'd be one thing if you went on the podcast and Graham was like, hey, love your show, which he did say. I particularly love your Charlie Kirk takes. Or if the guy was like, hey, Graham, what do you think about my idea that Mossad really killed Charlie Kirk? And Graham was like, I'm interested in that. We don't know. We need to hear more investigation.
Tell me more.
That's not what happened. They didn't talk about Charlie Kirk.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to let it continue to play, but I want to say this. So when he says the white working class, this kind of is like a snowball effect of a lot of things that I've been seeing, especially since the 2024 election, is that Democrats want to lean more to the right. And not just lean more to the right, they want to lean more into the white, W-H-I-T-E, white. And what their thought process is like, oh, well, we need to get back the working class. But Tim, and I got to give him credit, at least he said the white part with the working class, because are black people not a part of the working class? Are Latinos not a part of the working class? Asians, women, why are the marginalized groups not a part of the working class? I always thought when I heard working class, they meant white, because again, everybody's a part of the working. If you got a job, you're a part of the working class. But he said the quiet part out loud, the white working class. This is the problem with his statement. Maine is 92% white. The whole working class of Maine is practically white. So why did that part even need to be said? It's because inherently he has racial biases and he's like, yo, we need to start appealing to the white man. I'm tired of all these colored folks coming in here thinking that they can run stuff and thinking that they can actually win elections and win over white. No, we need that white vote. Instead of trying to bring out the coalition, because again, remember I told you guys this fact, Democrats have not won the white vote since LBJ. And that's LBJ's first term because he dropped out for his second run, right? But the first term, he won the white vote. After that, they have not. You wonder why? Because the Civil Rights Act was enacted. That's why they have not won. Now, people will say, oh, no, that's not true because the South. Listen, we can say South, North, East, West. At the end of the day, they are white. No matter if they come from the South or the North. They're one and the same. We're going to have that conversation. I don't care if you get offended. This is what it is, right? But even with that being said, there's this notion of like, we need to cater more towards white people. If you cater more towards white people or you seem more palatable to white people, it's not going to work. Because at the end of the day, the Republican on the other side, if you're more moderate or you don't seem as extreme or you try to ignore people of color, that's not a winning message either. Because if you move more towards the center or seem more moderate, what's going to end up happening is that they're just going to vote for the moderate, the actual moderate or conservative that's more right leaning. Like at the end of the day, anybody who talks about Medicare for all or anything about cutting taxes on billionaires and stuff like that, that's not popular with Republicans. Because you know what? It might be popular with the average day Republican, the average day, struggling person, working class person. That might be popular to tax the rich, right? But you're going to have so many right-leaning podcast people to drown that sound out about taxing billionaires and make billionaires sound cool. Like, I don't know how people fall for it all the time, but we should be taxing billionaires. All the messages that resonate with the left, it does not resonate with the right. No matter how correct or how palatable you make it, they don't care. All they see when they see somebody who's a Democrat or on the left or who's blue or who has a D next to their name, they see the enemy. The lines have been drawn. There's this whole conception about, oh yeah, we're really purple. You mix red and blue and we become purple and we're all one. That message is not working. We have tried that. It's not working. Now, I'm not saying that you ignore voters from the other side, but a state like Maine has, it's a little different because it's mixed, right? That's why you have a Susan Collins, and this is the seat that they're going for. But as far as, we need somebody to really try to get Graham Platner, and I'm not saying that he's not the guy, but it's not a proven fact that he is going to be the one to beat Susan Collins. I mean, there's been every time Susan Collins comes up for re-election, they always think they found the person, and it doesn't come out to what they think it's going to be. Susan Collins ends up winning. Now, even with Janet Mills, the lady is older, right? So that's something to take into consideration because they're like, damn, we got another old person up in here, like shit. But I will say with Janet Mills, she has won a statewide election because she's the governor, right? So that's proven right there. She's the governor, so she can win a statewide election. So that's more promising, but we're going to excuse the guy with the Nazi tattoo. And here's the thing. I didn't know what it was. Now, there has been leaks to say that they tried to warn him, like, hey, that's a Nazi thing. You might want to get that covered up. And he refused to. That, to me, automatically disqualifies him. But then we get into his Reddit post about how, women shouldn't get that drunk and they won't be taken advantage of. I'll put it that way. That's a disgusting take. Because whether women get drunk or not does not equate to them deserving to be, taken advantage of, right? And then we go into the whole thing about black people don't tip, which I thought that was funny. And I talked about this earlier, months ago when it first came out. And I was all like, wow, he really said that. And like the part that like made it even worse is that he didn't take it back. He was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't educated on the subject and blah, blah, blah. He said, I was actually just curious why you niggas don't tip. Now, he didn't say niggas, but you know what I mean? Yeah. And my thing is like, if we try to move more towards, oh, we need to get the white vote, there's no mathematical statistics that show white people are going to come back, as far as being the majority to, to come back to the Democratic Party and vote for Democrats. It's not a proven fact at all. I think trying to get the voters of color, talking about Latinos, Asians, and Black people, trying to bring out that base more, and especially people who have been disgruntled with the system, and try to inspire them to start getting engaged and start voting again, that's how you can win. This whole notion about, oh, we need to try to reach to the other side and try to get those people, it's not going to work. It hasn't worked. I think the person who came closest to getting that done was Jimmy Carter. He was the closest to getting the white vote again, but since then they have not got the white vote. And a lot of people say Obama got the white vote. No, he got a large percentage of men voters, which men voters tend to be more Republican. He had a larger portion of men voters, not white men, but men in general. So a lot of people get confused by that notion. But again, that whole we need to cater towards more white people. And this is not to say that white people can't be a part of the Democratic Party, because obviously they're the majority of the Democratic Party, but because it gets into trying to alienate people of color. It gets to wanting to alienate Black people. That's what we're getting to. And for him, who's gay and has a Black daughter, it's fucking disgusting to hear this kind of language come out and so passive, like, oh yeah, well, I hate that. Just like Julian Michaels, we need to call CPS, get Julian Michaels' daughter, get CPS called on this fool, get his daughter taken, because y'all don't need no Black children talking like that. I'm sorry. That's how I feel, and I'm not changing that either. You can be mad all you want to, but that's how I feel. I'm going to go ahead and end the show right here, you guys. Let me know what you think about this subject. Like, do you think that, we need a Graham Platner in Maine to get the white working class, even though it's 92% white? Or, are we going to see more of this? Like, we don't need to run a person of color no more. We need to only run white men so we can be palatable toward the white people. I mean, Calorico won his race because he was more electable, aka white. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Again, I'm giving you my perspective. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and let me know in the comment section. But hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more. I love y'all for watching, but we out. Deuces, everybody.